Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we're gonna take a look at the short story located on the module for Mostima. Like pretty much every single operator in this game who has a module, it comes with its own short story. And today we're gonna do a coverage of that one. Because, let's put it this way. I had this open already for like 2 or 3 days at this point, but I wanted to post this after I finished narrating the third part and final part for the Guide Ahead story, considering what is written in here is very much in line with one of the big plot points of that final part. So yeah, I wanted to wait until then. Which also, by the way, tomorrow is probably gonna be the video with Fiametta's short story, which is kind of another family thing, I guess. That is her theme, and I love it. But yeah, today we are here to talk about that story. But first, general thoughts on the unit as per usual. For you who just want to listen to the story, just fast forward quickly. I'm just gonna be short here with this part. But yeah. Let's put it this way. When she originally appeared and when her original banner was, I liked her personality and everything about her quite a bunch. Everything about the being very aloof and secretive to being very laid back in her character, but also very obviously telling that she cannot, even though she never fully puts it into words, telling that she cannot pretty much talk about anything regarding her past, especially the fact that she is a fallen Sancta. She's somewhere in between a Sancta and a Sarkas at this point. Now, one thing I'll say, before the Guide Ahead story, unless this was anywhere specifically said, I personally believe that the fall of a Sancta was something that happens slowly over time. Like their halos dimming, their wings falling slightly apart, the horns slowly growing in. But apparently, and this is a slight spoiler for Guide Ahead story, apparently, from what we learned, it literally happened to her in a couple of hours where Fiametta was absent and she shot Anduin. And when Fiametta came back, she literally herself narrates in the story that I came back and I saw you with horns. Like, that is a quick transformation, which makes me then wonder, how different is it between every fallen Sancta? Or rather, how drastic it is, considering Executor, aka Federico, is another fallen Sancta that we know of, who is also an operator, obviously, and was in the story. And like many fallen Sancta, he still works for Laterano and everything. But obviously they lose their empathy thing. They cannot sense the feelings of other Sancta like normal Sancta can. But I don't remember seeing wings on his horns on his art. He has just a darker halo and darker wings. But Mostima here, actually let me swap to her normal skin. But Mostima here both has darkened wings, halo, horns, and a tail. So I guess it's completely different from one person to the next, which is kind of interesting. But yeah. And finally, as a unit, I mean, if it isn't obvious, when I got her way back when she originally released, I slowly invested into her, leveled her, but never really got to properly use her, considering she freaking costed a ton to deploy. Plus, her skills take so long to charge, or rather her third skill, which is the one I like the most, personally. Her second skill is better, but still takes a lot of energy to charge up, plus it's a pretty short duration. But yeah, you know what? Her module now came out. It shaves off 8 deployment points. She costs, at least me, 25! Amazing! I might be actually able to use her properly in some maps now. where I can deploy her early, considering she also buffs the skill point recovery for other casters that are in the team. So deploying her with another caster is gonna be quite fun. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, let's get into the story, shall we? The story, or rather the module, is appropriately called Home of Black Lock and White Key. For people who maybe not know when they're watching this, the White Key is the spear, or rather, let's swap to here. The White Key is, if I'm not mistaking them, because it's very obvious by the coloring, the White Key is the spear staff. The Black Lock is obviously the rounded staff. And yes, Mostima is in a anomaly when it comes to casters, because most casters only use one staff. But she has technically two. And even her files state that when she was auditioned for, or rather tested when she came to Rhode Island originally, that she didn't demonstrate her full power as Kotsit was overseeing the tests. And that if she would have had, well, that would have caused some damage. And apparently, if she crosses both staffs or something, well, apparently this thing is not just there in the art. Apparently something like this appeared, which is fascinating. Which begs the question, is that the thing below the Basilica? I mean, at this point, considering apparently in every single one of the countries there is a gigantic godlike dragon sleeping somewhere. Probably. Let's put it like that. They're probably all dragons, right? That's gonna be the thing. Interestingly enough, here in the art for this, we only see the device that holds the spear, the staff spear and the rounded spear, and the black lock. We don't see the white key, which is interesting. Why wouldn't that be in here? But, says here, like I said, the title of the module is Home of Black Lock and White Key. And oh boy, this is an interesting one. So the story goes as follows. When he was 10 years old, his homeland was laid waste by war, leaving him no choice but to flee. During his escape, he tumbled into a hole blown open by an explosion and found the long-dormant lock and key by accident. When he was 20 years old, he became a caster and quickly earned the praise and respect of those around him, thanks to the lock and key's power. When he was 30 years old, he had amassed great wealth and a reputation he could have only dreamt of. Yet, he had long since ceased to care about any of that. At some point, he began to talk to his staff day after day. Everyone thought he had gone insane. When he was 40 years old, he suddenly disappeared from inside the palace one day, and no one knew where he'd gone. Rumors began to spread in certain parts of Casdell that a madman would tell certain possible predictions to anyone who passed him by in the barren lands. For example, that a giant beast would soon lay waste to our nation, and that the sky would one day tear in two and reveal its true face. Afterward, he would peddle his watches to whoever stopped to listen, and should they refuse, he would bring their time to a halt. By the time he was 100, he no longer knew where he was, but that no longer held any meaning to him. He believed he was seeking the secrets behind time itself. He had the key, but where was the lock? He had the lock, but where was the key? The past becomes the future, and the future shall have no secrets. Day after day, he talked to his own shadow, firmly believing that the truth was hidden within. Until one day, footsteps echoed throughout, as three Sancta walked into the underground palace. Now, the only question I have is because I really cannot remember. Those stories have been spread out so far and wide at this point, time-wise, obviously. Do we know who this is talking about? And the three Sancta? Are we talking about Mostima, Lemuel, and Anduin? Is that where it begins? Is that where the accident happened? Or rather, accident, is that where the moment happened where Anduin came into contact with the lock and key, had some form of vision, went nuts, attacks Lemuel, knocks her out into a coma for fucking 5 years, and Mostima shoots him? Is that the moment? Is this story literally leading up to that moment? Because it talks about three Sancta, which I guess could be them, could maybe be someone else who found the lock and key, and Mostima gets it handed later. But if someone can clarify, thank you very much. I would very much like to know, because digging that info up is probably who the hell knows where. But yeah, interesting story. I wonder who the hell is this talking about, considering it's from Casdell, meaning that I guess it's a Sarkaz who originally found the lock and key, which brings even more interesting ideas to the whole idea between probably the feud between the Sarkaz and the Sancta, why they are potentially at war. Maybe this is literally the reason why they are at war, because the Sarkaz stole the lock and key more than 1,000 years ago and ran away with it, and they started warring with each other. Maybe they don't remember what the fuck started a war. Maybe this is literally it, because this guy apparently found it in Casdell, and apparently he was in a palace at some point, meaning he was either a ruler or very high court caster. Who the hell knows? But if someone can clarify, I would be very appreciative of that. But yeah, this brings me to the end of today's video. And as always, I hope you all have a fantastic day and are enjoying the current live event in Arknights. Like I said earlier, tomorrow will be the short story for Fiametta's module on the channel, and then I only have one more operator record to post, and then we go into a normal schedule of uploads again. But that will be it for now, so once again, hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.